That track's called Asteroid. It's from the new album by Killing Joke, which is just called Killing Joke. And for the first time, because last time Killing Joke was around, I wasn't even doing XFM rock shows, or rock shows at all for that matter. Jaz Coleman from Killing Joke is here. How are you?
I'm good, yeah.
Give us a quick update then. 9 years. Is it 9 years since the Democracy album?
Oh, I haven't counted them all, but I mean, lots happened since then. You know, I mean, it takes me 9 years to get over Killing Joke, and in between that time, what have I done? I've done my first opera for Royal Opera House in Covent Garden, which is about the marriage of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. I've changed the national anthem in New Zealand, and like I got a load of chickens.
And that keeps you going for 9 years,
keeps me going. Yeah, that's
right. Do the
yeah.
chickens take up more time than changing the national anthem?
Well, they do. I've got chickens, horses, and all that sort of stuff. Like I've got a little farm there, you know, like a long way down and out of the way of everything, and yeah, that's my peace and quiet.
Where exactly are you based now? Because people hear about stories about from years ago when you went to Iceland, then Auckland, but you're on some island near
That's
Prague
right.
or something.
I don't like saying the identity of it because, like, I mean, I always like attract like complete nutcases. You know, hello, Fatal Attraction 11, just come into my life again, right? And I just don't need it, you know. So, like, yeah, I'm in the Pacific, absolutely.
Right, and you just keep yourself to yourself and keep away from everyone, basically, around there.
I do, and I do everyone a favour as well when I do it. And the other thing is, like, from next year I've got my own parish because I'm a priest. I can, like, marry people, I can baptise them and bury them.
Really? When did that come about?
Oh, it came about like the day before I actually met Dave Grohl. Actually, and I got ordained the day before. Poor fools.
Okay. So this will be the next thing after Killing Joke. Then you'll be doing the full priest. Have you got the gear to wear?
I've got the old dog collar.
Yeah.
I don't wear skirts and all that because I mean, it's just, you know, and I don't like all that sort of thing. It's a symbol of mucking around with people's kids and that sort of thing. You know?
Right. So you've got lots going on with that and your chickens, basically.
That's right, all that sort of thing.
Let's get down to talking a bit about the music. It occurred to me, when you go away from Killing Joke and the members of Killing Joke for such a long period of time, and you all individually kind of explore different musical directions, is there ever a worry when you get back together in the same room that the same chemistry won't be there because you've been apart and you've done so many different things?
Not really. I mean, you've got to remember, like, over the last 7 years, I've probably seen everybody once a month anyway, so it's like, you know, we do see quite a lot of each other, you know, and have a bit of an argue and that sort of thing. So it's quite a sort of strong social circle around Killing Joke, you know, and like you can't really compare us to many other bands probably in that way, that we actually do hang out together.
Yeah, because you always get the impression with bands that get together every so often, they're just together while they're in the studio or on the road, and then once they're not, then they're in.
We've been playing together in the last like 5-6 years, but I mean, it takes so long to put anything together for Killing Joke anyway. I mean, you've got to take a deep breath in for at least 3 years before you even start it, you know, and then once the beast is going, you know, it's not like the old days where you put an album out, you know, once every 14 months, as it were. Now you put an album out once every 4 years or 5 years, and you have to tour it for another 4 years. So it's like a very different process now.
But making the album as well, that from the stuff that I've read that you've said so far, was you think this is the best Killing Joke album, and certainly was the easiest to make this time around.
Yeah, you know, I guess when you're into your 25th year, you know, like writing the music, I look at Julie when he's grinning his head off and looking my eye like this, you know, like that, and we know it's happening. You know, it's a self-explanatory thing. It's great fun, mate. It's easy now with everybody, you know, and we play better, of course, right? You know, but we still bicker the same.
Yeah. What's the process then? You get together. Who phones who and says it's about time we need to do a new Killing Joke album?
It's a collective thing. Julie's always saying to me, you know, stop doing that orchestral stuff and all that. When we're going to go and do Killing Joke? I'm always waiting around for you. He's always moaning about like that, and like Youth's always up for making music anytime, and Raven, because we've got two bass players in Killing Joke, you know, so both have done sort of 5.5 albums each, you could say. So it's quite good when you fall out with one, you go with the other. When you fall back with the other one, you know. And Raven's a great character, you know, when I go through LA from New Zealand, he's always there. He lives in the dodgiest part of Los Angeles, and surrounded by loads of Mexicans. And you know what he does? He breeds pit bulls, right?
Right.
And he does cockfighting. Yeah, it's literally cockfighting, and like he took me to one once, and after this, last time I saw him, he goes, I've got a great little fighter here for you, and like, he had this box, and he's always scratching him out. There's a little chicken in it. He got me for a cockfight. So they're interesting people, really.
My God. And I love the way that's the halfway stop off as well. You've got the rest of the band waiting in England, but you leave Auckland, then you stop off for this kind of
see Raven.
This funny existence in LA, and then it's like, okay, here we go, halfway to the Killing Joke regroup.
That's right. Yeah, that's how it
genius. genius.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Dave Grohl situation then, because from what I understand, someone somehow put you two in touch, and you met him in a hotel bar in Auckland, and that was how it was arranged.
Very, very, very funny actually. Yeah, because like the day before I got ordained, you see, so like when I met Dave, I had my dog's collar and everything, like, and we were in the celebratory mode because, you know, after you get ordained, after you get your masters and all that sort of thing, it's quite a big deal. So we got shit faced, you know, like we must have woofed about 2 bottles of vodka, and so I said to him, Dave, have you got anything to confess? And he said, I'm sorry, Jazz, I'm sorry. Like, you know, because there's been a bit of tension between the two.
Yeah, because of the 80s and the Come As You Are track, right?
It's a fine thing that all the boys in Killing Joke, we're not such materialists anyway. But kind of like the slate's clean, if you know what I mean.
Mm. Was he nervous? Was he nervous, like when you turned up in the hotel bar? I think I would be. If I'd never met you before and I've heard all the stories, and then you turn up dressed like that, and I've ripped off one of your songs and had a massive hit with it.
Well, that's about the size of it, isn't it? Yeah? And like, we won't even think about how much money that could have been, eh?
No, absolutely.
Anyway, life's too short for that.
You see, I've got my dog's collar and I've also got my calculator, Dave. Are you ready? Let's do some arithmetic.
Yeah, it's very funny. He's a real sweetheart. I mean, he's really like family stuff, and I think it's very brave of him actually to do it.
Yeah.
But we hit it off straight away, and we had such a laugh. We ended up falling all the way down a hill in Auckland. Like, we got so blind drunk. It's all on film actually, and. What a charming guy.
Yeah.
You know, like, you can't help but be impressed by the man's sincerity, you know? And I'm impressed by the fact that, like, he knows more about Killing Joke than I do. I mean, he listens to Killing Joke certainly more than I do.
Yeah.
Except for the new album.
Right.
Because I do listen to that 3 times a day. It's like a sort of cappuccino fix. No, espresso fix, I should say. And, like, I can start the album anywhere, on any track, and I love it. And I've never had that before with Killing Joke, you know? Like, I've always, like, 5 tracks or 6 tracks on an album, or even 7 sometimes, but never every track. And I do. I genuinely love every track on this album. Unprecedented situation.
And then in terms of his drumming, I mean, how did that come about? Did you know when you met him that you were looking for someone to drum on the album, or was it...
We'd already sort of had John from System of a Down. He played with us, and we were thinking about Danny from Till, because he's a mate of ours as well. But then Growley, he heard like 5 tracks, and he said, it's mine. And like, then he heard the other 5 and he just blew his head off, you know. And really, it's a very strange situation because, you know, most bands reach their definitive moments in the first 2 albums or so. And this is our 11th.
Yeah.
And it's like a definitive album. It's a masterpiece. Damn it, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah. And you've never felt so excited about a Killing Joke album
You can
before,
feel it from me, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I can tell that from being
trickling down your neck. It's like the heaviest band in the world, and we all know it.
I know it is really heavy. It's a very accomplished piece of work. Do you think, though, that if you bear in mind all of these bands that are massive, that have been around now, that look up to Killing Joke so much,
they have to all come for confession, you know.
Well, this is what this is what I'm thinking. I mean, do you think that the band has actually got, you know, the kind of level of respect that it deserves? Because all these people kind of come out of the woodwork every now and then, and you know, you obviously know they're around and they look up to you, but I
don't really think about it, to be honest. Like, my life's so different outside of Killing Joke. It's as far away from Killing Joke as you can imagine. I mean, I conduct orchestras and compose for a living, and when I'm not doing that, like, I like being in complete and utter isolation. So like, I don't get music papers, I don't keep up with anything, and I don't really buy CDs, if I'm honest, right? And all I want to hear is Killing Joke anyway. Right.
So it never crosses your mind then about, you know, who's paying their dues and stuff like that?
No, I found like the last decade is really boring musically, to be honest. I mean, you know, first it was all the sampled sounds of like I don't know, groups like the Orb.
Yeah.
Funny enough, Alex from the Orb, actually, he was our old drum roadie, and we've kept his job for him. You know, he can still put up the drum kit because he hasn't got a job now. You know that. And then of course the Britpop thing came, and I thought that was
went, thankfully,
very, very depressing state of affairs. You know, sort of all the Lennon McCartney kind of influences. Which, I mean, I hated the Beatles. Sorry, Paul, but I hated the Beatles. You know, didn't like them at all. So I'm glad that's over with. And like, I mean, look at these headlines today that expose Blair, Iraq, and the Great Deception. I mean, that was the atmosphere rounds to making of this album. The fact that everybody in the United Kingdom woke up to the fact they've been cheated.
Yeah. Cheated
by really corrupt men that should go to court.
Yeah.
Mr. Blair, I'd like to see you in the International Criminal Court along with Bush, but of course Mr. Bush won't make it because the Americans haven't signed up to the International Criminal Court. They're very happy sending people there, but they don't want to go there themselves. Of course, his dad would be in Nick with him as well, and along with Kissinger.
I want to talk a little bit more about that in just a second, but let's take another track from the album. This is called Seeing Red. Seeing Red from the new Killing Joke album, which is just called Killing Joke. Jaz Coleman for the very first time, and hopefully not the last. Is here on the
great.
XFM
Did
Rock
you
Show
enjoy
tonight.
that? Seeing Red's great.
Seeing Red is actually my favourite track from the album.
It's
Seeing
the
Red
last one we recorded actually, and it's funny because when I sang that track, you know, like when I finished it, I just broke down. I must have cried embarrassingly enough for about half an hour, and then left the studio. So it really sort of affected me because I didn't really think about all these things that you're talking about, like the influences of the bands that we've affected and that sort of thing. I didn't really it all weighed on me then, and like that track, Seeing Red, is like very emotional. I mean, it means a lot to me. Where's it go? They're dropping bombs again, and they're doing it in your name. All the rational commentaries in the papers that I read, marmalade and buttered toast, and the smell of Sunday roast. Kiss the arse of Uncle Sam, oh to be an Englishman.
Yeah, it's great. I have to say, actually, the first time I got a copy of the album, I actually went back and played that track again after I finished it. That is really my favourite.
It's an emotional track for me, yeah.
But I think you said, you know, this was the right time to do another Killing Joke album. Obviously, apart from your desire to go back and be the front man with the rock and roll band, I get the impression you are fueled by the headlines in the papers. In terms of
look, I mean, you got to admit, it must take a lot to sort of prise me away from the kind of lifestyle I live, which is pretty bloody nice, you know. Yeah. But I feel like I need Killing Joke in my life, and I think the world needs Killing Joke. I mean, we need some like absolutely honest music, you know, as honest as the Pistols when they said like "God Save the Queen." We need this energy level in music, and it's just horrible. All those like girl and boy groups and like this kind of trend that started. It's a disgusting period in musical history, you know, and I think people are sick of that. Like they're sick of like these corrupt governments that we get landed with, and Killing Joke, well, we get a big vote. I mean, I've never before had the response on any album I've ever done in my life like we're getting on this, and it's not even released. It's like the atmosphere is electric everywhere we're going.
Yeah. So people are more into it than ever before.
I think they're angry.
Yeah.
I think people are angry. I think people know, really, we don't do Killing Joke for the money.
Do you also think, though, because of the world's current climate, and everyone's obviously very aware of that at the moment, like you said before, that people are going, and then they look at what you've got to say, and it all kind of goes hand in hand. I
think it has locked in. It's locked in a massive way, this album. I mean, it's explosive. And, you know, we've reached this unprecedented time in history. I never would have thought before that, like, literally, revolution in a Western country was possible. But actually, I can see that it's possible. People are so angry. They feel utterly cheated, you know, cheated. And, like, we don't have sovereignty in United Kingdom.
Yeah,
we've lost it. It's embarrassing. It's shameful to be a British passport holder, and we've got to change that. It's out of order.
Yeah. How long has it been since you've lived in this country full time?
Oh, probably about 82.
Yeah,
you know, a lovely time away. I haven't missed it at all.
You specifically dislike London as well, don't you?
I don't like. Well, no, I like some parts of London. You know, my favourite place in England.
Go on.
Heathrow,
right?
In the first class lounge on the way out, right?
But I have read before that, you know, there are London, even though more so than the UK in general, London is one specific place you don't like being.
It's grey, expensive, depressing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like it. I mean, you need 70, 80 quid in your pocket just to go out. And what is it like? It's barely a taxi and a sandwich, isn't it? These days, I don't know how people manage it myself. I think it's like we're all living in a state of economic slavery. Frankly, I'm not happy with things at all.
Yeah. Well, just from personal interest, how do you see London in terms of, say, pitching it up against somewhere like Los Angeles? I mean, you travel through Los Angeles when you're going through Auckland.
I like them both the same.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Right.
Yeah, I hate it, really.
Okay.
No.
So what's the good things about New Zealand, though, and Auckland, and what goes on there that's different?
Well, not a lot, really, either. I mean, the fact is you've got a bit more room. I mean, you can drive for 2 hours without seeing a car and that sort of thing, you know? And, like, there's a lot more room. What can I say? It's beautiful. It's not messed up. And I kind of feel that sustainable resources and this, I'm very much into permaculture. I mean, at the heart, I say this to everybody, at the heart of Killing Joke is a farm. And at the end of the day, that's what I believe in. I believe in, like, clean water. I mean, there's enough water in the world for 1/3 of the world's population. We're in a very scary situation, and like someone's going to suffer. I really do not trust the state of affairs. I think when you have an American Secretary of State, Undersecretary of State, that says Armageddon is inevitable, I mean, that's a scary situation to be in. When you have like people like Bush who have prayer meetings before they start the bombing. I mean, leave it to him. I mean, do you trust this guy? I mean, most people in England don't. They think this guy's evil, and like I think he is evil. I think that great evil is coming from United States of America. And what I really find scary, even more than this, is the fact that people are too scared to speak out. You know, you've got all these actors and people in the United States of America that spoke out against this war, and now like the phones aren't ringing, they're being punished for it. There's so much of our democracy. Look at New Zealand, like they're trying to punish us with trade now because we didn't go along with it. Notice I say we because like I'm a New Zealand passport holder,
right,
and thank God, because like this country does not represent my beliefs at all. I mean, fancy sending people, young British kids, into a war where they're going to get killed. Mr. Blair, you've got some deaths to answer. You know, like I really think you're a criminal, and I really think you should be in prison.
When you go out on the road, how do you adapt from this idealistic existence that you've got in your place where you go away and you write your orchestral music and stuff like that? It must be a bit of a culture shock when you haven't been out on the road, when you're travelling around being the front man with a rock band again.
Yeah, and it's the kind of the intensity level of Killing Joke. It's pretty hard on the body, you know. And but you know, the thing is about Killing Joke, it's not like any other band. I've got all my friends around me.
Yeah.
I've been with these guys since I was 17 now, you know. And I enjoy their company, if I'm honest. You know, they're an outrageous bunch of people. I mean, really, in Killing Joke, you've got like an architect, a qualified architect, two composers. I mean, Geordie scores a full orchestra as well as me. Not that you can be bothered to do that these days. You can't stand orchestras. And you know, you got youth like doing his Paul McCartney stuff and the Verve and all this sort of thing, you know. So they're an interesting bunch of people, and Raven with his cockfighting, of course, right? You know, like I really enjoy their company, and of course when we get together, we don't really talk about music much.
Yeah,
So it's good fun being on the road, and you're surrounded by like there's various sort of stratas of Killing Joke in the society around Killing Joke, and then there's all the people that sort of guard us when we get together, and you know, and all the sort of gangsters and like all our friends, really. So it's good
fun.
fun.
How long do you think that this particular chapter of Killing Joke's going to last before you go off and do something else again? Because you're intending to do quite a bit of touring off the back of this album, aren't you?
Well, we've got 150 gigs ahead of us actually, and that's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Can you imagine what it's like when you get to like gig number 24 and you actually make the mistake of looking at the calendar? You go out your mind. You go out your mind. Like, all you got to do is just deal with every day, and then one day the tour manager says, "Oh, you're going home tomorrow," and then you're really in the trouble, because like your body's tuned to 2 hours of this like intense energy every night, and like then you go home and you're pacing the kitchen, like you pick a fight with the missus and that sort of thing, and then you go and you get another divorce and do it all again. The accountant says you have to go on the road again.
So how long do you reckon this time for touring this album that you're so happy with them?
Oh, well, I mean, a year's worth of concerts already booked up.
Yeah.
You know? So I can't really see beyond that, because I never look at life more than 1 year. You can't take life for granted. I mean, I've got so many friends who are dead now and stuff, you know. And it's funny seeing the passing of time. So, like, as far as I know, we're going to make it to the first part of the tour. And if we survive, we'll make it to the end. Okay.
Well, that sounds like a good plan to me. We're going to play one more track from the new album, which is Dark Forces. It's been a pleasure having you here. Thank you, Jaz.
It's been a laugh, mate. See you at the concert, sir. Cool.